So, right, so it was a kind of inversion of control. Oliver principle, don't call me, I'll call you. Here the container resolves or injects the dependencies of the components by setting the implementation object, that is the push, as opposed to the component instantiating or the service locator pattern where the component locates the implementation, which is the pull mechanism. Martin Fowler calls it as the dependency injection. In their benefits, it's flexible, testable, maintainable, and there are two flavors which we saw. One is the constructor dependency injection and another setter dependency injection. Setter dependency injection, constructor dependency injection में क्या होता है? We just need to make sure that the constructor, okay, that's going to be called, we make one constructor of that sort and we have the parameter that will be injected in it. Whereas setter dependency injection says that you just need to make the setter for the property. You will try to search for the set and that property name, and then when it says property name, it actually looks at the camel casing setting of the property name. Now, we'll just go a little bit deep. We're going to talk about some bean factory, external bean factory, beans and injection parameters. Bean factory interface. Bean factory object is responsible for managing beans and their dependencies. Your application interacts with the Springs DI container through the bean factory interface. Bean factory object has to be created by the application, typically in the form of the XML bean factory object. Bean factory object, when it gets created, reads the bean configuration file and performs the wiring. Wiring means providing the dependency. Once created, the application can access the beans via the bean factory interface. Most convenient extension of the default listable bean factory that reads the bean definition from the XML file document is the XML bean factory. These are all different formats of bean factory. So how do we get it? We simply say new file system resource and we pass that XML file over here as a parameter. We get the new XML bean factory and from then we simply say factory.getBean. That's how we go ahead. And these things are all there in Spring. Right. Now how does the bean configuration look like? Each bean is defined using the bean tag under the root of the beans tag. The ID attribute is used to give the bean its default name. The class attribute specifies the type of the bean, that is the class of the bean. So in this case, as you can see, this is the ID, this is the class, right? And here there is a property called as message provider, which is being fulfilled by the provider over here, right? Same thing for the constructor one, where we pass the constructor arg over here, right? And for the constructor argument, this is the way it will be fulfilled. The term bean is used to refer any component managed by the bean factory. The beans are in the form of Java beans, that is no argument constructor, and getter setter methods for the property. These are the formats of the beans, the Java beans created by the bean factory. Beans are singleton by default. Properties, the beans may be simple values or refers to other beans. We see an example of the singleton behavior. Okay, what are the different things that you can inject? It can be simple values, it can be beans in the same factory, it can be a beans in another factory, it can be a collection, it can be some properties, external defined properties. Okay, you can apply this both at the setter and constructor injections. So you can also actually go ahead and inject simple values by simply saying property name and value like this. Name age, value this. Name height, value this. Okay, we actually set hardcode values like this. Make sense?
Programmer boolean hai kya?
Yes, is programmer boolean. Injecting beans. This is used when you need to inject one bean into another, that is the target bean. For that to happen, you need to configure both the beans first. You need to configure, in our case, the renderer and the provider. First you configure them. Then what you do is you configure an injection using the ref tag in the target beans property or the constructor argument, right? And then after that, inside the renderer tag, inside that bean for renderer, we had a property setter injection for the provider. The type being injected does not have to be the exact type defined on the target. If the type defined on the target is an interface, the type being injected must be an implementation of it. If the type defined on the target is a class, the type being injected can be the same type or the subtype. Right? It simply has to pass the is-er test. It has to pass the is-er test. So in this case, and we say Oracle. It is going to find the ID. Now this class will be injected over here. Now the naming convention. Each bean must have at least one name that is unique within the containing bean factory. How does the resolution of the name goes? If a bean type has an ID attribute, the value of the ID attribute is used as the name. Okay, the ID is the one that will be searched for. If there is no ID attribute, the Spring looks for the name attribute. Then if there is nothing on the ID, then it will search on the name. If neither ID nor name attribute are defined, Spring uses the class name as the name, and it will use a class name. A bean can have multiple names also. That involves a where we specify a comma or a semicolon separated list of names in the name attribute. That is in the case of web services. So it can be with the ID, okay, or it can be simply with the name, or just with the class. Right? Okay? Any other three formats where it can search for the ID. If not the ID, then the name. If not the name, then the class. Right? This thing can be checked out. Auto wiring is something that we don't talk much, because initially there were 4 types of auto wiring: by name, by type, by constructor, auto detect. But then eventually it got so complicated, they have removed it, and now we use added auto wire, which is a much easier way of dealing with injections. Let's quickly go through some examples, namely the singleton behavior. We did see this example, right? Annotation renderer provider. I'm sure this one is clear. By the way, the Java files which I've given you separately, they will be checked in the build path. Now possibly you might be getting some errors over here, because this is pointing to my local, right? So they will point to my local, and the same thing does not need to be in your place. So configure the Java files here by saying remove all the red ones and then add external Java. In fact, remove everything except the GRE library and add all the Java files in one shot, and you can start programming. And right now what I am giving you is our standalone Java projects. After that the MVC one will start. Okay, so where is the singleton example? Bean scope. So by default the scope of the bean is singleton in behavior. Let's see what does that mean. So singleton means what? Singleton means that every time you get only single instance. Let's see how does that work in Spring. So there is a bean called as customer service, okay, and we have configured that bean inside the XML file with the bean ID cust. Okay? With the bean ID cust, we have configured the bean customer service. Then here is what the program. The program goes in such a manner that we first get the application. Application is something that we talk about once we get done with this example. It's another extension of your bean factory, but a better version of your bean factory, because we get to do a lot of things in that which we can't do in a normal bean factory class. So once we get that factory class, then we say context.get bean cust. So we get the bean, right? When we say cust get bean, it will create the instance, it puts it on the heap, right? And this cust A will point to it. Correct, isn't it? Then what I say cust A dot set message, and the message is set over there. The attribute of that cust A will be set, having some message. And when I actually go and check cust A dot get message, I'll get something back, right? Now what I do is I do the same thing again. Context dot get bean cust, okay, and now I give it to a reference cust B. Now what happens is when I say cust B dot get message, okay, normally it should have been giving me a null, but instead I get this message by cust A.
If it's singleton.
Yeah, by default it is singleton only, but the default behavior of Spring is singleton. So the meaning of this is that no matter how many times you call that bean, it will be created only once. After that, whatever you call, it will give you the original reference. So right now, if I say cust A, okay, so cust A is pointed to that object. When I say again context.get bean cust and give it to cust B, so cust A and cust B will be pointing to the same object. Hence the reason when I say second time, so this is the first message cust A dot get message, I say message by cust A, and second time when I say cust B dot get message, still I get to see that message by cust A. Correct? That's the singleton behavior. Right? If you want to change that, we have something called as prototype. Prototype says that every time you say get B, you get a new object. Right? Every time you say get B, you get a new object. You don't get the original one. Similar to these two scopes, there are other scopes also. Request and session. Request scope means that get me all the beans within that request scope for MVC scenario. For a request scope, give me only one bean. Every time when I say get bean. Session, for a particular session, give me one bean. For a particular session scope, give me only one bean. No matter how many times I say get bean. Right? That is something to do with the scope. ठीक है? Clear है यहाँ तक? इसके बाद की जो examples हैं, we will work it out.